What is the impact of an injury on a person's self-esteem? Well, the impact can be a profoundly destructive one. Welcome to Spectrum Psychological. My name is Alexander. I'm a psychologist by training. Now, if a person cannot work because of the injury, they cannot make a living, they cannot earn money, it has a very monumental effect on a person's self-esteem. It means that they cannot pay their bills, they cannot live up to their financial obligations. Most of us take great pride in being able to meet our financial requirements, our obligations, pay our bills. And so if a person is not able to do that, it has a very significant effect on a person's self-esteem. Aside from that, not being able to make money and take care of one's family, that bores directly to a person's core, to their self-esteem, their self-worth. Nothing is more important than family and being able to look after one's family, take care of the ones we love and people who love us. But if we're not able to provide for them financially, well, the effect of that is often very, very destructive. And it's not just about being able to provide for people, as in pay for their bills and so on, and feed them and clothe them. There are other things too. We like to take little vacations. We like to go to the movies. We like to go to sporting events. We do recreational things together. All of that costs money, and so that speaks to the quality of life of a person. So when a person is not able to make money because of an injury, and they're not able to provide not just the basic necessities for their family, but also all the other things that speak to a quality of life, the effect on the person of that is a very heavy one. They can see other people being able to do all the things that they used to do, but here they are injured now and they cannot work, or they cannot work the way that they used to. That has resulted in a decline in their income. Well, that's a pretty heavy burden to bear. And so it whittles down a person's self-esteem. It has a very negative effect for that person. There are other things as well. Sometimes when people are injured and say if they're not able to work, then they might be relying upon an insurance company, for example, short-term disability or long-term disability. That too has consequences psychologically for the person. So here's a person who used to work, earn a living, look after themselves, run their own lives, and now they are dependent on a third party to support them. That's not an easy thing to come to terms with. It's a very challenging thing. It's a very heavy thing to come to terms with. It gets even worse if the person that they're dealing with on the other side, the insurance company side, disability management side, is not very sympathetic to their plight and is harsh and perhaps even disrespectful, which can happen from time to time. Certainly many of my patients speak to that. Then that is very demeaning for them. And many of these people, they'll talk about they worked 10, 15, 20 years of their lives and independently supported themselves, taken care of themselves, and now they're dependent on this one individual who doesn't know anything about them or doesn't seem to want to know anything about them, but controls their financial survival. And so that's a very, very tough thing to parse. It's a very tough thing to come to terms with. There's a lot of fear associated with that, a lot of anxiety associated with that. But there's also a lot about self-esteem in there that, I'm dependent on somebody else and I cannot live my life independently and take care of my life's obligations and family and so on and so forth. Most of us have a lot of chores and tasks that we do in our lives on a daily basis, But for many people who are injured, they're not able to do these chores and tasks, mow the lawn or clean the house or wash the car. That's another variable that is a very burdensome variable. Here, they used to handle all these things on their own independently at one point in time, and now they may be dependent on their children to help them out, and sometimes little children to help them out with even little things, and so or the partner is helping out. So you can just imagine the effect of that on a person's self-esteem and self-worth. So it just literally bores right down to the core, particularly if a person has particularly if there's a lasting disability, there's a permanent disability. It's a very hard thing to come to terms with, and it can be very destructive for the person. So destructive in the sense that people can become depressed, and they can feel weak, they can feel worthless, and for some people they can feel like they're a burden on other people. The situation can be so traumatic that they may actually start thinking about suicide. It can literally get that bad. So you can just imagine if that sort of stuff is running in a person's head, a person's actually thinking about suicide. I mean, you come to a point where you are in so much pain, psychological pain, and your own sense of worth, your own sense of esteem effectively has come to nothing, that you start to think that I'm better off dead and my family members are better off without me. So their worth has shrunk effectively to nothing, that they're literally thinking of extinguishing their existence. So we started out talking about what is the effect of injury on a person's self-esteem. Well, the effect really can be profound, and so a big part of counseling is not only teaching a person how to handle their mood and how to deal with the stress of the financial strain that they might be experiencing, and how to manage the turmoil of their mood, up and down, frustration, anger, stress, resentment, so on, all these pieces, along with pain and sleep and so on. But also we're working on their core, because it's really, if the core is not strong, that's the self-esteem part, that's the self-worth part. If the core is not strong, nothing sticks. So that becomes a big part of working with an injured person on the psychological end. Well, I hope this video has been of some help to you and has provided some insight to you on the effect an injury can have on a person's self-esteem. If you found this helpful, please give it a thumbs up and feel free to share it with anyone you think might be able to benefit from it. Good luck and take care.